In the heart of a lush, green forest in ancient India, there was a thriving animal kingdom ruled by a mighty lion named Raja. Raja was a just and noble king, respected and feared by all creatures in his domain. His advisors were a shrewd fox named Chatura, a cunning leopard named Nakul, and a wise crow named Mahabala. Together, they maintained peace and prosperity in the jungle. One hot summer afternoon, as Raja lounged in the shade of a large banyan tree, Mahabala, the crow, flapped down to his side. "Your Majesty," Mahabala squawked, "I have seen something unusual near the desert's edge. A lone camel has wandered into our jungle." Raja, intrigued by this news, sat up. "A camel, you say? What could a desert creature want in our jungle?" "I do not know, sire," replied Mahabala, "but it might be wise to investigate. A stranger in our midst could be either a threat or an opportunity." Nodding in agreement, Raja commanded Chatura, the fox, and Nakul, the leopard, to accompany him to where the camel had been spotted. They set off immediately, eager to uncover the mystery of the wandering camel. Upon reaching the edge of the jungle, they found the camel grazing on the sparse vegetation. The camel was tall and lanky, with a forlorn expression, clearly lost and bewildered in the unfamiliar environment. "Greetings, friend," Raja called out in his deep, commanding voice. "I am Raja, king of this jungle. You seem far from home. What brings you to our domain?" The camel, whose name was Tarak, lifted his head and saw the imposing lion, flanked by the fox and leopard. "Great king," Tarak began respectfully, "I am indeed lost. I was separated from my caravan in a sandstorm and wandered into your jungle in search of food and water. I mean no harm and seek only refuge." Raja listened intently, his mind whirring with possibilities. Here was a creature that could serve his kingdom well. Camels were known for their endurance and strength, and having such an ally could be beneficial. "You may stay in our jungle," Raja declared magnanimously. "In return, you must pledge your loyalty to me and help us when needed." Tarak, grateful for the hospitality and a safe haven, readily agreed. "I pledge my loyalty to you, O king," he said, bowing his head in submission. Days turned into weeks, and Tarak adapted to life in the jungle. He became a favorite among the animals for his gentle nature and stories of the desert. Raja was pleased with his decision to allow the camel to stay, as Tarak proved to be a hard-working and loyal subject. However, not all were happy with the new arrangement. Chatura, the fox, watched with growing resentment as Tarak gained favor. He felt his own influence waning and feared losing his status as the king's most trusted advisor. "Your Majesty," Chatura said one day, feigning concern, "though Tarak is a good creature, he is not of this jungle. What if his presence attracts more of his kind? Our resources are limited, and our delicate balance might be disturbed." Raja, though confident in his decision, could not completely dismiss Chatura's words. The fox had always been cautious and strategic, and his concerns were often worth considering. "Let us monitor the situation closely," Raja replied. "We will ensure that Tarak's presence does not become a problem for our kingdom." Chatura nodded, hiding his satisfaction. He had planted a seed of doubt in the king's mind, which he hoped to nurture for his own advantage. Time passed, and one year, the jungle faced an unprecedented drought. The rivers ran dry, the lush vegetation withered, and food became scarce. The animals grew restless and worried, as did Raja and his advisors. "Your Majesty," Mahabala, the crow, called urgently, "we must find a solution soon. The creatures are growing desperate, and some have even begun leaving the jungle in search of sustenance elsewhere." Raja, troubled by this news, called a council meeting with his advisors. "We must devise a plan to save our kingdom," he declared. "The survival of our subjects depends on it." Nakul, the leopard, suggested exploring the deeper parts of the jungle where water might still be found. Mahabala proposed sending scouts to other territories to negotiate for resources. Chatura, however, had a different idea. "Sire," he said slyly, "we must prioritize our needs. Not all creatures contribute equally to our jungle. We should consider which animals are essential and which are not." The implication was clear, and Raja hesitated, his mind racing. Chatura was suggesting they sacrifice the weaker or less useful animals to conserve resources. It was a ruthless strategy, but desperation made it tempting. "We must think carefully before making such decisions," Raja finally replied. "Let us first try Nakul and Mahabala's ideas." The advisors nodded, but Chatura's words lingered in the air, planting further seeds of doubt and mistrust among them. As the drought dragged on, tensions in the jungle rose. Chatura saw an opportunity to rid the jungle of Tarak, whom he viewed as expendable. He secretly met with Nakul and Mahabala to discuss his plan. "We must act to ensure our own survival," Chatura argued persuasively. "Tarak is not of this land, and his departure would ease the strain on our resources. We can convince the king that this is necessary for the greater good." Nakul, who respected strength and cunning, saw the merit in Chatura's plan. Mahabala, though more hesitant, eventually agreed, swayed by the fox's manipulative words. Together, they approached Raja with their proposal. "Your Majesty," Chatura began, "the drought has forced us to make difficult choices. Tarak, though loyal, consumes resources that are becoming dangerously scarce." Raja listened, conflicted. He valued Tarak's loyalty and felt a sense of responsibility for the camel's safety. However, the dire circumstances forced him to consider every option. "I will speak with Tarak," Raja decided. "He deserves to hear this from me directly." Raja found Tarak resting beneath the shade of a tree, trying to conserve energy in the oppressive heat. The lion approached, his heart heavy with the decision he faced. "Tarak, my friend," Raja began gently, "the drought has placed immense strain on our kingdom. My advisors suggest that your presence might be an unsustainable burden in these harsh times." Tarak looked at Raja with understanding and sorrow. "I see, Your Majesty," he replied. "I am grateful for the kindness you have shown me. If it is for the good of the jungle, I will leave." Raja was moved by Tarak's willingness to sacrifice for the greater good. "It is not what I wish," the lion said earnestly, "but we must consider all possibilities." Tarak nodded, accepting his fate with dignity. "I shall depart tomorrow at dawn." That night, as Raja lay awake, he questioned the morality of his decision. Was it just to send away a loyal subject in his time of need? Was survival worth sacrificing integrity and honor? Raja knew he must act wisely and fairly, but the weight of leadership had never felt heavier. As dawn approached, Tarak prepared to leave the jungle. He was saddened by the prospect but resolved to face his fate bravely. Just as he was about to depart, Mahabala, the crow, landed beside him. "Tarak, wait," Mahabala croaked urgently. "I have reconsidered our decision. It is not right to cast you out. You have been a true friend and ally." Tarak looked at Mahabala, surprised and touched by his words. "Thank you, Mahabala. Your kindness means a lot to me." Meanwhile, Chatura and Nakul watched from a distance, realizing that their plan was unraveling. They had underestimated the bonds formed during Tarak's time in the jungle. Chatura approached Raja, hoping to salvage their scheme. "Your Majesty, the crow has defied our decision. Tarak must leave, or we risk our own survival." Raja, however, had made up his mind. "Chatura, I cannot sacrifice a loyal friend for temporary gain. We must find another solution to our problems." Chatura and Nakul, seeing their influence wane, begrudgingly accepted Raja's decision. Their plot had failed, and they would have to adapt to the new reality. Tarak, grateful for Raja's decision, vowed to repay the jungle's hospitality. Your Majesty, Tarak declared, I have an idea that might help us survive the drought. Raja, intrigued, listened closely as Tarak explained his plan. In the desert, we have learned to store water and conserve resources. I can teach the animals how to find hidden water sources and ration our supplies more effectively. The animals rallied around Tarak, eager to learn his techniques. Under his guidance, they discovered new ways to conserve water and make the most of their dwindling resources. Tarak's leadership and knowledge transformed the jungle's approach to survival. The animals, inspired by his resilience, worked together more harmoniously than ever before. As the days passed, Raja saw his kingdom grow stronger despite the adversity. The drought persisted, but their newfound unity and resourcefulness gave them hope. Raja called a gathering of all the jungle's inhabitants to celebrate their achievements. Today, we honor Tarak, he proclaimed, whose wisdom and bravery have saved our kingdom. The animals cheered, acknowledging Tarak's contributions and the lessons learned from his presence. The jungle slowly recovered as the rains returned and life blossomed once more. The animals thrived, their bonds of friendship and cooperation stronger than ever. Raja, reflecting on the challenges they had faced, realized the importance of trust, loyalty, and compassion in leadership. He vowed to govern with fairness and integrity, valuing every creature in his kingdom. Chatura, having learned from his mistakes, sought to regain the trust of his fellow animals. He worked tirelessly to support Raja's vision, using his cunning for the good of the jungle. Tarak, now an integral part of the jungle community, continued to share his knowledge and experiences. He was respected and admired by all, having proven his worth beyond doubt. The story of Raja and Tarak became a legend in the jungle, passed down through generations as a tale of friendship, resilience, and the power of unity. As the years passed, Raja's kingdom flourished, becoming a model of harmony and prosperity. The lessons learned during the drought remained etched in the hearts of all creatures, guiding their actions and decisions. Raja, Tarak, Chatura, Nakul, and Mahabala continued to lead with wisdom and strength, ensuring the well-being of their subjects. Under their guidance, the jungle became a sanctuary for creatures from all walks of life, a testament to the enduring power of kindness and cooperation. And so, the story of the lion and the camel, a tale of unlikely friendship and shared struggle, lived on in the hearts and minds of all who call the jungle home. If you like the story, then subscribe to the channel for more interesting stories.